फाइनेंशियल ईयर में 2019-20 में हम इससे जुदा हो गए, उनको याद करना भी ज़रूरी है। मैं पीर सैयद गुलाम शाह जिलानी, अदी शहनाज अंसारी, शाह अली मर्दान शाह और हमारे प्यारे भाई हाजी मुर्तज़ा बलोच जो कोरोना से की वजह से वफात पा गए, उनको इस मौके पर याद करता हूँ। स्पीकर साहब, असां तमाम ॾुखे वक़्त में आहियूं। हिन ॾुखे वक़्त में असां हिन साल जी जेकी बजट पेश कयूं पिया, उन में काफ़ी इशूज़ आहिनि ऐं उन्हनि खे ॿुधाइण लाइ मां पंहिंजे असेंबली मेंबरान खे ऐं असेंबली जे थ्रू, स्पीकर साहब तव्हांजे थ्रू हिन सूबे जे माण्हुनि खे आगाह करणु थो चाहियां। Sir, we have gone through a long and tiring journey, facing and combating the challenges posed by COVID, the epidemic that spread across international boundaries and eventually escalated into a global pandemic, spreading over 200 countries. It has also affected Pakistan. We now see it extended to our impact in our social and economic domains. In the wake of the disastrous effects of COVID-19, Sindh government initiatives and resources had to be redirected to save precious lives in a potentially decelerating economy. COVID-19 was primarily a threat to existing health systems and subsequently extended its impact to all facets of life. As it grew in size to reach a massive scale, the world had to divert its resources to save people from this invisible enemy. It brought life to a grinding halt and converted cities into virtual ghost towns. It was aimed, sir, the entire world went towards a lockdown. The major countries, and I'll talk about some of them. This was aimed at minimizing people-to-people contact, breaking the human chain of dominoes, and thus we coined a new word, social distancing. So government of Sindh followed the universally adopted approach to address this virus. Steps were taken as soon as its first case surfaced on 26th of February 2020, and schools were immediately closed to protect our children. We moved towards closing down all places where people could gather, and a lockdown was imposed on 23rd of March 2020. This continues to be enforced in one way or the other throughout the country. So as soon as we imposed the lockdown, other provinces followed suit, and the entire country imposed a lockdown. Sir, I would like to mention that in the entire world, two different approaches were used. One, what I call the capitalist approach, which talked about quote daily wages, but in their mind they had the interest of the capitalist, of the industrialist. Second was the humanist approach, which made COVID-19 a priority. And we are glad that in this province of Sindh, we initiated this. So the countries which use capitalist approach, United States, the United Kingdom, Brazil, Italy, Spain, and to some extent Pakistan, have suffered due to COVID. So whereas the countries which looked at the humanist approach, which cared for the lives of the people, they have successfully, at least initially, combated the virus. I'm talking about China, Greece, Australia, Taiwan, and New Zealand. So New Zealand We diverted our resources towards providing better health facilities and towards supporting the common man facing a potential meltdown as the economy came to a near standstill as a result of an imminent national lockdown. Sir, I would like to highlight some of the major steps taken by Government of Sindh. We created a coronavirus emergency fund with an initial outlay of ₹3 billion. Initially, ₹1.3 billion was contributed from the Government of Sindh and around ₹1 billion from the employees of the Government of Sindh. Provision of money is monitored and approved by a committee headed by the Chief Secretary Sindh. The committee has strong representation from the private sector for ensuring transparency as well as neutrality in the processes. We hired one of the top 4 audit firms which has already submitted its first report. So we didn't forget our health professionals. A high-risk allowance comprising of one basic salary in relevant pay scale has been allowed initially to the health personnel who are performing duties related to COVID-19 patients in the health institutions of laboratories. This risk allowance is being extended to all health facilities. Post-graduate house job officers will also be paid initial basic pay of BPS 18 and 17 with effect from March 2020 till subsiding of COVID-19 pandemic. So it is estimated that ₹1 billion will be spent on the health risk allowance in the next financial year 2020-21. So we did not stand idle. When slide 1 when we first started, you will see it in a little while on the screen. We had a capacity of only 80 tests per day. That has been successfully increased. And if you see on the 26th of February, still at a capacity of 80 tests per day, which has increased to 11,450 tests per day. On the 16th of June, we carried out 11,819 tests, which is the highest in any province in the country. Next slide. So if you look at this slide, Sindh has a capacity of 11,450, Punjab 9,030, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa 2,590, and Gilgit-Baltistan 1,095, Balochistan 360. Next slide, please. So this is a very important slide. This shows that the province of Sindh has undertaken 6,881 cases per million. Pakistan is at 4,068. Sir, if you look at the other countries, we have even beaten India. The province of Sindh has beaten India, which otherwise has 4,186 tests per million, but we have 6,881 tests per million. Off कर दे इसको. Off कर दे इसको. Sir, to cope with the extraordinary situation arising out of COVID-19, health sector being the frontline service provider, expeditiously initiated steps to make necessary arrangements to avoid a big human disaster. 81 isolation centers in all districts with 8,266 bed capacity was established. By June 2020, this capacity will increase to 8,660 for ensuring timely supplies and proper service delivery. Government of Sindh constituted medical procurement committees. The committee procured personal protection equipment, laboratory items and equipment and other essential machinery, equipment and instruments worth 2.43 billion, which includes expenditure of ₹1.5 billion under the Corona Emergency Fund and 891.8 million from PDMA funds. In addition, the existing ventilators, 101 more ventilators were procured on need basis for public health sector facilities with 250 monitors to ensure timely 1st of April, and this will inshallah increase to 1,275 by the end of July 2020. Next slide. So this is a very important slide. Why are we worried? Why are we worried that the federal government, the federal rulers are leading this country towards death? I repeat, sir, the federal government, the PTI government is taking the country towards death. But if you look at the slide above, Pakistan's infectivity rate is at 21%. There's only Mexico in the entire world which is higher than Pakistan. Our next door neighbor India is at 8% infectivity. Infectivity means the number of positive cases divided by the total number of tests. So the countries which are now opening up, Italy, UK, the United States, if you see they have an infectivity rate of 1%, 2% and 4%. It is very clear that the federal government is not taking the lives of the people of Pakistan seriously. Through the floor of this house, through you, Mr. Speaker, I urge the federal government to take the coronavirus seriously. People's lives are in danger. They are playing with the lives of the people in the garb of looking after daily wages. In fact, they are looking after the industrialists of this country, the capitalists of this country, and the Pakistan People's Party, through its chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, will never allow this. Next slide. So this gives you at the moment, why are we worried? Though we have got 396 beds with friends, at the moment we have only 100 beds available on bed. As far as the HDU is concerned, we've got 764 HDU beds, and right now we've got 427 available. But looking at the infection rate, looking at the deaths, today as we speak, we had the highest number of deaths in Pakistan. 136 people lost their lives because of corona. And if the opposition thinks that this is a lie, then they need to get themselves examined, because yes, 136 people died today on corona. That is a fact. That is what the NCOC says, what is the federal government says. So we've taken a number of steps in terms of this. Before I go any forward, I need to appreciate the efforts of the healthcare professionals, including doctors, nurses, paramedics and technicians who provided care to COVID-19 patients by placing their lives at stake. They were our first line of defense. Our healthcare professionals proved that they are defenders of health of the nation. President Asif Ali Zardari led the front and bequeathed the gift of the 18th Amendment to this country. I will miss no word in saying that it is only to the devolved powers under the 18th Amendment that SPIN spearheaded the country in making preventative safety measures in wake of COVID-19. The amendment equipped the provinces to design workable strategies and take practical measures to address the global emergency. In the absence of the devolved powers, the province would have looked to the federal government for instructions, guidance, resources, and possibility of a prompt action would have been little to none. This would have resulted in colossal damage. But with the 18th Amendment to support us, our situation remained under control. The federal government later on joined hands with the provinces in a rearguard action, and we now hope to see the silver lining of the COVID dark cloud soon. But this will only happen if the federal government follows the policy which was adopted by the countries which took care of the lives of the people and did not go after the capitalist approach. There's a talk of reversal of 18th Amendment or a change in the amendment in any form may reduce the powers of the province, which may consequently weaken the federation itself. Eventually, trust deficit may develop between the federation and the federating units. If, God forbid, this happens, It will increase the suffering of the people, and the provincial governments may not be in a position to respond in timely manner to mitigate distress or disappointment. So the leadership of a party considers the 18th Amendment as the only panacea for the development in the country. PPP Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari said in his address at the Lahore University of Management Sciences earlier this year, and I quote him, "In 2010 we achieved consensus and all democratic parties played a role in the passage of the 18th Amendment. It is the only way forward to ensure rights of the smaller provinces, and we will follow the guidance and the directions of our Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari." Sir, I will now present the revised estimates for 2019-20 and the budget estimates for 2020-21. The provincial budget of Sindh, like other provinces, depends mainly upon federal transfers, as it constitutes 70% of the provincial budget. The government of Sindh set its development and non-development programs and targets based on the commitments made by the federal government. Any shortfall in this regard seriously impacts the performance of the provincial government. I would like you to put on the slide now. Sir, if you look at this, the federal government had wanted to collect 5.5 trillion in 2019-20. The FDR estimates have been revised back to 3.9 trillion. What this has done is that instead of 761 billion, the share that we are promised now is 535 billion. More than 230 billion, almost 230 billion have been reduced from the Sindh share because of the inefficiency, and they would want to blame this on Corona. सर, ये कोरोना की वजह से नहीं हुआ. अगर आप जुलाई से लेके और मार्च तक देखें तो जुलाई से लेके मार्च तक इनकी डिस्मल परफॉर्मेंस थी, और अगर वही परफॉर्मेंस जारी भी रहती तो 300 या 400 बिलियन और इकट्ठा कर लेते. तो ये 4.2, 4.3 बिलियन से ऊपर नहीं जाते, और अब ये अपनी सारी नाकामियां कोरोना के नाते डाल रहे हैं. इनकी नाकामियां की वजह से सूबों ने सफर किया है, और इनकी नामुमकिनों की वजह से सूबे नहीं कर सक रहे. सर, अगर आप देख रहे अगले साल के लिए, the federal government has estimated 4.9 trillion rupees for collection. Sir, I don't think this is a target that they can achieve. In fact, the federal finance advisor in his post-budget press conference has already casted some doubts in them. Based on this, we have been promised 680 billion rupees next year. Sir, I tell you why I think that these numbers are not achievable. Sir, if you look at this slide, you will get an idea. Sir, in 2017-18, the GDP growth was at 5.8%. The revised and the actual was 5.2%. Sir, last year, the first year of the PTI government, the GDP growth was estimated at 6.2%. Exactly a year ago, the federal government presented the economic survey for 2018-19, and they said the growth would be 3.3%. Instead, the growth was only 1.9%. This was the dismal performance of the first year of the PTI government, when there was no corona threat, there was no emergency in the country, there were no floods which the People's Party government had countered, and despite a very good normal year, they failed miserably to achieve the growth target. In the current year, they had set the growth targets at 4%. They, about 2 weeks ago, presented in the NEC कि growth हमारी minus 0.4% होगी. लेकिन मैंने उस मीटिंग में उन्हें कहा कि जी वर्ल्ड बैंक minus 2.6% पिच कर रही है आपकी ग्रोथ इस करंट साल में. आप ये गलत नंबर क्यों दे रहे हैं जो बाद में आपको दुरुस्त करने पड़े? लेकिन सिर्फ अपनी अच्छा चेहरा दिखाने के लिए, जो कि नहीं है, उन्होंने ये गलत नंबर दिए हैं. अगले साल के लिए भी they are projecting 2.1%. I find it very difficult that they will be able to grow the economy at 2.1%. And in fact, the World Bank has predicted that the next year, 2020-21, the economy will grow at negative 0.2%. all, we have to just, adopt these numbers while knowing that these numbers are inherently incorrect. So the total provincial receipt, the total provincial receipt of the financial year 2019-20 were fixed at rupees 288.7 billion. The COVID-19 situation deeply affected the provincial receipts. The actual collection is expected to be about 210 billion, which is only 8% higher than last year's collection of 194.9 billion. Sir, now I go to the budget estimate for 2021. If I can have the slide. Sir, next year, our budget has pitched at rupees 1,241 billion, 1,241,125,668,700 rupees. I'll give you the breakdown of this. Next slide, please. So, from this, our current revenue expenditure is expected to 968,991,389,600. Our current capital expenditure is pitched at 39,191,023,100, and our expenditure is pitched at rupees 232,943,256,000 rupees. Sir, if I can go to the next slide, please. Sir, I told you what this is. Our total receipts are going to be 1,098 million, which includes 760 billion, which I believe, which is minus 9% of last year estimate. But I feel that this number will not be achieved, and that is why I tell you, when we formulated the budget, we have taken care of these failures, inherent failures of the federal government of not collecting the fund. The total revenues for next year is at 760 billion. Federal receipts, provincial tax receipts of 263 billion. Non-tax receipts of 49.871 billion. And sir, I would like to mention here, in the non-tax receipts, we have included rupees 25 billion, which have been deposited in the Supreme Court for the land which was taken by the government of Sindh, and this money has been deposited by the company which had got the land, and we are in the Supreme Court, and inshallah ta'ala, as the Supreme Court had earlier said, this money belongs to the people of Sindh, and we accounted that, and rupees 25 billion is included that. Current revenue receipts for next year are estimated at rupees 25 billion. Next one. सर, ये मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि 413 अरब रुपए हमारे एम्प्लॉय रिलेटेड एक्सपेंस है. हमारा जो एम्प्लॉय रिलेटेड एक्सपेंस है, इस साल मुश्किल में होने के बावजूद आज काबीना ने फैसला किया है, पूरे पाकिस्तान में हमें अपने लोगों का ख्याल पहले रखना चाहिए. हम क्या सिग्नल्स देंगे? इन्फ्लेटेड एडजस्टेड तनख्वाहें नहीं बढ़ाएंगे. हम प्राइवेट सेक्टर को भी ये मैसेज देंगे कि आप तनख्वाहें ना बढ़ाएं. इस वक्त हमने कानून पास किया है कि आप किसी को निकाल नहीं सकते, और इस वजह से मैं ये ऐवान को बताना चाहता हूँ कि काबीना की मंजूरी के बाद ग्रेड 1 से 16 तक के मुलाजिमीन की तनख्वाह 10% बढ़ाई गई है, और ग्रेड 17 से 22 की 5% बढ़ाई गई है. और ये जरूरी है, जैसे मैंने कहा, कि हम क्या सिग्नल्स देते हैं प्राइवेट सेक्टर को. अगर हम तनख्वाहें नहीं बढ़ाते तो हम प्राइवेट सेक्टर से कैसे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं? और मैं चाहता था कि वफाकी हुकूमत भी ये करे और अपने लोगों का ख्याल रखे. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सर, डेवलपमेंट के लिए हमने प्रोविंशियल बजट में 170 अरब रुपए रखे, और आगे जाके मैं इसकी मजीद डिटेल आपको बताऊंगा. सर, keeping in view above non-development and development poverty is a major milestone of objectives as under. So we are going to exercise maximum austerity measures in our non-development expenditure. So we will provide maximum to the health sector. So we will enlarge substantially our social protection net through increased cash transfers to poverty-inflicted people. और सर, इसकी कुछ मैं आपको डिटेल्स बताऊंगा. Sir, we sustaining economic activity of the poorest of the poor in rural as well as urban areas, and we have a scheme for that. सर उसके लिए भी मैं आपको बताऊंगा. सर हम तालीम पे अपना फोकस कंटिन्यू करेंगे. बाकी एरियाज में बिकॉज ऑफ द कोविड सिचुएशन वी हैव रिड्यूस बजट, बट हेल्थ और एजुकेशन में हमने अपना बजट कम नहीं किया बल्कि बढ़ाया है. सर the outbreak of COVID-19 has nearly halted world economy. Pakistan is affected too. The COVID-19 crisis has three sources of socio-economic impact on the population: morbidity and mortality, containment measures such as general lockdown, work travel restriction, SOPs easing as well as restriction of lockdown in response to disease spread, local and targeted lockdown, reduced global demand. So these are the problems that the population is facing. While the socio-economic impact of the crisis will be felt across the board, it is clear that particular segments of the population will be highly vulnerable to extreme distress and food insecurity. Families facing morbidity and mortality, low-income families under quarantine, self-isolation, local lockdown, daily wage earners, casual self-employed during future phases of general lockdown, laid-off workers due to slowdown in global demand. In order to assess and manage potential post-COVID-19 crisis, Finance Department has a short study conducted to analyze severity of economic challenges to prepare a strategic plan for providing fiscal stimuli, economic resuscitation and social protection. Current situation has affected every sector which contributes to economic growth. Agriculture sector contributes a significant portion to our economy. It is affected badly. In post-COVID-19 scenario, unemployment is on the rise. The businesses are at standstill, and small and medium enterprises need assistance for revival. For ensuring food security and reduced inflation and employment, a strategy to encourage a community-driven economic activities, focusing on supporting home-based business, small and medium enterprises, a social protection and economic sustainability package of ₹34.2 billion is proposed for the next financial year 2022. Sir, we are allocating ₹20 billion for cash transfers for individuals affected by COVID. 20 अरब रुपए मख्सूस किए जा रहे हैं कैश ट्रांसफर्स के लिए उन लोगों को जो कोविड से अफेक्टेड होंगे. ये एक स्लाइड आ रही है. So ₹5 billion is allocated towards soft loan program for small medium enterprise. Loan size will range from ₹500,000 to a maximum of ₹2 billion. ₹1 billion subsidy will be provided for purchase of quality rice seeds to the farmers with land holding of less than 25 acres. ₹11 billion is allocated on account of wheat subsidy for the year 2020-21. The amount has been enhanced from ₹5 billion allocated in the current financial year. Sir, $1 billion will be provided on account of fertilizer subsidy to the farmers with land holding of below 25 acres. ₹1 अरब सब्सिडी हम पेस्टिसाइड्स के कंट्रोल के लिए देंगे, जो कि 25 एकड़ से कम लोग हैं, फार्मर्स हैं, उनको ये सब्सिडी दी जाएगी. स्मॉल बिजनेस सपोर्ट फंड में ₹3 अरब रखिया है. ही जे सिंध जा शहरी इलाका आहिनि उन्हनि खे सोशल प्रोटेक्शन स्ट्रेटेजिस यूनिट जे थ्रू सोशल वेलफेयर डिपार्टमेंट ईंदी. इन में जेकी लोन जी साइज़ हूंदी उहा वधि में वधि ₹2 लख हूंदी. ही स्मॉल अर्बन जेके यूनिट्स आहिनि उन्हनि खे सपोर्ट जे लाइ स्मॉल बिजनेस सपोर्ट फंड आहे. ₹2 अरब असां रखूं पिया अंडर पॉवर्टी एलिविएशन प्रोग्राम. इहे नंढे फार्मर्स जे लाइ जेके ॾहिराड़ियुनि में आहिनि. हिन में लोन साइज़ ₹50,000 हूंदी ऐं इहा पॉवर्टी रिडक्शन स्कोर कार्ड जेको असां वटि SRSO NRSP थर्दी वग़ैरह कनि पिया सोशल वेलफेयर डिपार्टमेंट जे थ्रू इहा ॾिनी वेंदी. Sir, rupees 500 million is kept for supporting technology-based startups, incubators and accelerators through investment. Rupees 700 million is kept for support of IT intervention and innovations, solutions in goods and accelerators through investment department in consultation with IT department. Rupees 500 million is proposed for livestock breeding to ensure department will be livestock and fisheries department. Sir, मैं हेल्थ पे आता हूँ. Health continues to remain the third largest sector with an allocation for current revenue expenditure of rupees 120 billion and development including foreign aid at 15.5 billion rupees. Sir, in next financial year, the total current revenue expenditure budgeted is rupees 139.1 billion, while allocation for development schemes in the health sector have been increased from 13.5 billion to 23.5 billion. And I'll talk about some of the initiatives of the health department. Next slide, please. Sir, हमने कोरोना इमरजेंसी फंड कायम किया है और इसमें 3 अरब रुपए इसकी डिटेल में आपको दे चुका हूँ. 81 आइसोलेशन सेंटर्स हमने बनाए हैं. शुरू में ये डिटेल भी मैंने आपको दी. सर, 4.12 बिलियन हमने रिलीज किए हैं डेजिग्नेटेड हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज को फॉर कोविड-19 बोथ इन द पब्लिक एंड द प्राइवेट सेक्टर, और हमने 1.080 बिलियन डीसीज को प्रोवाइड किया था फॉर राशन टू डेली वेज अर्नर्स. कोरोना टेस्टिंग के बारे में आपको बता चुका हूं कि हम 80 से बढ़ा के इसको 11,450 पे ले गए. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सर, हम लीपा पे पाकिस्तान का पहला इंफेक्शियस डिजीज हॉस्पिटल बनाने जा रहे हैं और इंशाल्लाह ताला जुलाई के महीने में यह हॉस्पिटल ऑपरेशनल हो जाएगा. ये पाकिस्तान का पहला इंफेक्शियस डिजीज हॉस्पिटल होगा. लेकिन सर, हम सिर्फ कराची तक नहीं, असां सिंध जे हर डिविजनल हेडक्वार्टर में हिकिड़ो इंफेक्शियस डिजीज हॉस्पिटल था कायम कयूं ऐं नई स्कीम में ये 6 डिवीजन में असां रखियल आहिनि इहे पैसा त जीअं इहे असां इंफेक्शियस डिजीज हॉस्पिटल ठाहे सघूं. साईं, 1 बिलियन असां रखियो आहे जंहिंमें ॿुधायो हेल्थ केयर प्रोफेशनल जे लाइ. 5.6 billion have been allocated to Sindh Institute of Urology and Transplant. 1.75 billion to Shaheed Mohtama Benazir Bhutto Trauma Center Karachi. PPHI को 6.53 बिलियन. लेडी हेल्थ वर्कर्स प्रोग्राम के लिए 1.21 बिलियन. 150 मिलियन हमने वेरियस डायलिसिस फैसिलिटीज को ग्रांट देने के लिए रखे और 1.9 बिलियन हमने हेपेटाइटिस कंट्रोल प्रोग्राम में फॉर प्रिवेंशन एंड कंट्रोल ऑफ हेपेटाइटिस रखे. ब्लड कैंसर की मेडिसिन के लिए हमने 431.13 मिलियन रखे हैं. 183.6 million have been allocated for purchase of hepatitis B vaccine to birth dose. 1 अरब रुपया हमने रखा है फॉर वेलफेयर ऑफ HIV एड्स पेशेंट्स इन सिंध. लास्ट ईयर मैंने अपनी बजट स्पीच में बताया था, ये कंटिन्यू कर रहा है. सर, हम 39 तालका हेडक्वार्टर हॉस्पिटल्स की जो अपग्रेडेशन और रिवैम्पिंग हो रही है और जो कंस्ट्रक्शन इमरजेंसी ट्रॉमा सेंटर्स 41 कर रहे हैं उसके लिए हमने 1.295 बिलियन रखे ताकि ये कंप्लीट हो जाए. तालका हेडक्वार्टर और डिस्ट्रिक्ट हेडक्वार्टर मटियारी, कंबर, उमरकोट इंशाल्लाह ताला तैयार हो जाएंगे. 25 बेडेड ट्रॉमा सेंटर गवर्नमेंट लियारी हॉस्पिटल कराची में आ जाएगा. 250 मिलियन हमने थर फाउंडेशन को दे रहे हैं ताकि इस्लाम कोर्ट में हमारी ये कंट्रीब्यूशन है उसकी तरफ कि इस्लाम कोर्ट में थर फाउंडेशन जो कि मेजॉरिटी ऑन सिंध गवर्नमेंट की है वो अस्पताल बना सके. अगली स्लाइड में. Sir, I will now go to education. Education is our priority. This is the only other sector where we have not reduced the allocation. Sir, allocation has been increased to 244.5 billion. 212 बिलियन इस साल थी, वो बढ़ा के 244.5 अरब कर दी है. डिस्पाइट रिसोर्स कंस्ट्रेंट हमने एजुकेशन में अपनी पूरी बजट का 25.2% रखा है. इससे पता चलता है कि हम एजुकेशन को कितनी प्रायोरिटी देते हैं और एजुकेशन मिनिस्टर को एडिक्वेटली इक्विप किया गया है कि वो एजुकेशन फैसिलिटीज को बेहतर कर सके. सर, 2020-21 की एडीपी में एजुकेशन सेक्टर हैज बीन एलोकेटेड 21.1 बिलियन फॉर 39,397 ऑनगोइंग, 11 न्यू बट अनअप्रूव्ड स्कीम्स. An allocation of 3.5 billion is provided under foreign aided projects in addition to the provincial government's budget resource allocation. Next slide, please. Sir, तो मैं अब आऊँगा एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर की तरफ। मैंने एग्रीकल्चर में शुरू में बात कर ली थी। मैं कुछ एग्रीकल्चर के बारे में भी आपको बता दूं। सर, एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है कि मैं तो बता दिया, मेरा ख्याल है इसको रिपीट नहीं करता, इसलिए कि जब मैंने शुरू में बात की थी तो लोकल्स जो हमें अफेक्ट कर रहा है उसके बारे में डिटेल बता दी थी। So I'll just tell you the important targets. I'll tell you the important targets achieved in the agriculture sector in the current financial year 2019-20, including developed registered varieties of onion, ladyfinger, rice and mango crop, production of 9,000 plantlets through tissue culture technology and laboratory, and provided to growers on subsidized rate, produce quality seed of crops for further multiplication, analysis of 23,949 and 7,091 samples of soil and water for the fertility and suitability status and establishment of 22 agro-mag technology services centers. Sir, अगले माली साल के लिए हमारे क्या टारगेट्स हैं एग्रीकल्चर में? I'll just tell you. The next financial year 2021 targets have also been set to be achieved. Some to be highlighted include acclimatization and adaptation of tropical fruits to launch biofortification technology projects to combat zinc deficiency in wheat, rice crop, establishment of Sindh Institute of Biotechnology and Genetic Engineering, establishment of soil microbiopsy and micronutrient research laboratory at Orchard Nutrient Management Research Institute, Mirpurkhas, and to launch campaign Grow More Cotton. To launch skill development and management programs for orchards and vegetable farm workers, to establish cold chain management, reduce system to reduce post-profit losses of perennial horticulture projects. So it is also planned to establish new fruit and vegetable markets in different districts of Sindh through public-private partnerships. Sir, I will just briefly tell you about the works and services and the road sector. The government of Sindh aims to develop safe, swift and reliable transportation infrastructure in Sindh. To boost this sector, an allocation of rupees 6.54 billion is allocated against 17 major schemes. The government is committed for the revival of Karachi Circular Railway crossing costing 207 billion rupees for redressing the transport issues of Karachi. The government of Sindh has allocated 3 billion rupees for construction of underpasses and overbridges over railway crossings along KCR route. Sir, in the road sector, in terms, the cabinet has approved the recommendations of the technical and the steering committee on K4 so that this project can go on. Sir, the government of Sindh is taking lead in strengthening of the social welfare department and its allied departments to medicate suffering of poor prevailing circumstances due to COVID-19. Therefore, budget allocation to social welfare has been enhanced from rupees 1.8 billion to rupees 27.1 billion. In the next financial year, with an overall increase of 1,360%. As mentioned earlier, rupees 20 billion has been allocated for cash transfers through Sindh People Support Program for people affected by COVID. Sir, in the Women Development Department, according to the population census of Pakistan, total population of Sindh is 47.886 million, out of which 22.956 million consist of women, which is 47% of the total population. Women are playing momentous and pivotal role in every walk of life. I just hope that we had Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto leading us in these tough times so that she could take decisions like other women leaders in the world, like the Prime Minister of New Zealand took, and she took the country out of the COVID situation. Unfortunately, the males, including myself, have not been able to even fit in the shoes of our great beloved leader, Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto. So the government of Sindh is especially focusing on welfare and development of women. We have launched various initiatives of providing women equal social, economic, political and legal rights. The government of Sindh is taking lead in strengthening Women Development Department in prevailing circumstances created due to COVID-19. Thus, increase of around rupees 5 million in operating expenses, increase of 2 million in law charges of Directorate of Women Development, State Ministry, and institution of honorarium of rupees 3 million for the members of Sindh Commission on Status of Women is proposed for the next year. Sir, minorities are an integral part of the population of Pakistan, including the province of Sindh. They have the freedom to live life in accordance with their respective religions and customs. The government of Sindh has been taking steps time to time for welfare and prosperity of the minorities so that they may play their role in the development and progress of the province of Sindh. Rupees 855.6 million was allocated for the financial year 2019. For the next financial year, rupees 1.5 billion is kept in the budget. Sir, before I end, I'll just talk about our public-private partnership initiative. Sir, as this House, the people of this province know, we have a very good public-private partnership program which is ranked at number 6 in Asia. The province of Sindh is number 6 and is considered as the sovereign unit as far as public-private partnership is concerned. So that is why, because of the shortage of funds, we are focusing on the public-private partnership initiative. And I'll just quickly list a few projects that we are doing. We are doing the Maleed Expressway project under public-private partnership, the Ghotki-Kandkot Bridge under public-private partnership, education management organizations are being, we're working with the education management organization for public-private partnership. We've got 61 outsourced health facilities under public-private partnership. Sir, what we propose to do is do the wastewater treatment plant TP1 under public-private partnership, the urban road project Karachi, the Dhabiji Special Economic Zone, Marble City project in Karachi, Technology Park at NED University, non-formal education under public-private partnership. So both in terms of infrastructure, both in terms of brick and mortar and services, we are leading the entire country in public-private partnership. Sir, one thing that I forgot and I should mention, when I talked about salaries, the pensions will also increase in the same proportion which I mentioned. So the pension for the retired employees will also increase in the 10% from grade 1 to 16 and 5% from 7 to 22, as I mentioned, for the currently working employees. Mr. Speaker, sir, we fought against COVID-19 pandemic with vigor and spirit. Our response was appropriate and timely. Our province was the first that took timely measures to keep the people of province of Sindh safe. The people strengthened our hands and supported our efforts. I've heard politicians, senior politicians, government people blaming the people for the failure. Sir, it is the failure of the governments, not of the people. The people of this province, the people of Pakistan are very, very knowledgeable. They know what is wrong for them. But if you give them mixed signals, अगर आप ये कहेंगे कि ये सिर्फ फ्लू है, अगर आप कहेंगे आपको बुखार हो जाए, आप टेस्ट कराने ना जाएं, अगर आपकी टेलीफोन मैसेजेस ये कहेंगे कि जी ये जानलेवा नहीं है, तो लोग कैसे ख्याल करेंगे? ये सारी जहालत उस लेवल पे थी और अब लोगों को ब्लेम कर रहे हैं। मैं अपने मुल्क के लोगों को ब्लेम नहीं करता। हमारे मुल्क के लोगों ने हमारे साथ कोऑपरेट किया, हमारे सूबे के लोगों ने हमारे साथ कोऑपरेट किया। हमसे कोऑपरेट अगर नहीं किया, अगर रखने अटकाए और लोगों की जिंदगियों से खेले, तो वो आपको पता है कौन थे? वो लोग थे जो कहते थे ये फ्लू है, जो कहते थे लॉकडाउन एक फैशन है, पूरी दुनिया कर रही है, और आखिर तक ये कहते रहे क्या हुआ भाई, न्यूजीलैंड ने कोविड को डिफीट किया, 92 में हमने न्यूजीलैंड को वर्ल्ड कप में हरा दिया था, हम इसी पे आज तक खुश हैं। ये जो फरंगी खेल पे ये लोग खेलते रहे उसकी भी बात कर लें। Sir, we have tried to allocate our resources for the next financial year 2020-21 prudently amid fight against COVID-19 in the next financial year. The pandemic may have had an impact on our objectives and targets, but will surely not dampen our spirits. We need help, guidance of this august house, political parties, private sector, and the people at large for this fight against COVID, for this struggle against COVID. Sir, we also invite the government of Pakistan to come and work together with the federating units, because a strong federation is in the interest of democracy, political institutions, socio-economic development, economic prosperity and welfare of the people of the country. Our Shaheed leader and Muslim world's first female Prime Minister, Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto, said, and I quote, "Pakistan's future viability, stability and security lie in the empowering of its people and building political institutions. My goal is to prove that the fundamental battle for the hearts and minds of a generation can be accomplished only under democracy. We are the followers of our great leader, Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto. We will fight to the last for democracy, for provincial autonomy, for safeguard of the people of our province, and inshallah ta'ala, the Pakistan People's Party government will not fail the people of Sindh." So we will have to develop a consensus and make a joint strategy to address the problem in national interest. The Constitution of our country provides various constitutional forums and procedures for solution of problems in a constitutional way. I urge through this House the Honorable Prime Minister to immediately hold the meeting of the Council of Common Interest so that these issues can be discussed there. We have a constitutional forum. We should not rely on unconstitutional measures to combat issues where constitutional forums are available. The Constitution says that the CCI has to meet every 90 days, और अभी तक सिर्फ 3 मीटिंग CCI की हुई है, जबकि 2 साल में 8 मीटिंग्स हो जानी चाहिए थी। तो मैं आपके तवज्जुह से, इस हाउस के तवज्जुह से प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ पाकिस्तान जो कि काउंसिल ऑफ कॉमन इंटरेस्ट को हेड करते हैं, उनको रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि ये आईनी जिम्मेदारी संभालें और जल्द से जल्द CCI का इजलास बुलाएं। Sir, we are committed to serving the people. We are committed to serving the country. Our loyalty to this land is beyond any doubt. Our leadership sacrificed their life for the cause of peace and for strengthening and consolidating democratic institutions. Our party is the stumbling block against exploitation, discrimination, and undemocratic norms and traditions. Sir, today was a unique day. Today was the first time in any assembly in the province of in any province of Pakistan, the National Assembly or the Senate, where, Mr. Speaker, you, because of this COVID emergency, held a session online. There are a number of members who are present online. I should have welcomed them up front, those who've joined us. I can even see Salim Baloch, who's infected by COVID. He is sitting and attending the assembly session at home. This was possible because of you, Mr. Speaker.